We start tonight with a new push from Sacramento County Sheriff Jim Cooper, who says enough is enough.
Yeah, he's launching a ballot initiative to change Prop 57, aiming to keep sexually violent predators from being released under elderly parole laws.
The move comes after recent cases here in Sacramento involving convicted offenders being considered for release.
ABC 10's Roxanne Elias explains what this proposal would do and why the sheriff says it's all about protecting kids.
I'm fed up, I'm frustrated, it has to change. We have to put victims first.
With strong words, Sacramento County Sheriff Jim Cooper is calling on voters to change Prop 57. On Wednesday, he launched a new ballot initiative, Protect Our Kids, Reform Prop 57, which he says would block sexually violent predators from being released under elderly parole laws.
The real damage of 57, that it gave the parole board way too much unfettered power. They routinely release violent inmates early, even after a jury trial and judicial sentencing.
Cooper says the voters never really knew what they were voting for, and that's why it needs to go back to the voters. The response comes after recent cases of convicted sexually violent predators being considered for release under California's elderly parole laws.
And what makes it so ironic in Sacramento, we had David Allen Funston and Mr. Vogelsong. He molested 7 girls and 1 boy, and I'm sure there are many more. Mr. Vogelsong molested 6 boys. That is the issue. What is the moral compass of this?
Detectives with the sheriff's office also say in many cases there are more victims who have never spoken up, amplifying the need to keep predators locked up.
I can't help but wonder how many of you may have been a victim in your childhood, because unfortunately not all these cases, the vast majority, don't get reported. So scars are forever. And I hope that the public will understand what Sheriff Cooper is trying to do here.
Sheriff Cooper says it's scary that the parole board could release other sexually violent predators. Detectives are also not convinced that sexually violent predators can be reformed.
And Mr. Funston said, I can control it. I don't think so. Once a pedophile, always a pedophile.
The plan is now to raise money for signature gathering, which Sheriff Cooper says shouldn't be difficult to do since it means protecting children.
If you're against the proposition to protect our kids, that means you stand with pedophiles and predators.
That was our Roxanne Elias reporting. The sheriff says this isn't a political issue and every child deserves protection. Once signatures are collected, the measure could go on the 2028 ballot, giving voters the final say.